Jupiter at Night is presented live on the internet.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Jupiter at Night. My name is Chris.
My name is Jeremy.
Hey there, J-Man.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Oh, well, I'm a little disappointed, actually, with the entire internet today.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
I gotta talk about a beer just at the top of the show. I'm sorry. I'm drinking an Alaskan Winter right now. You know, the old ball and chain went out to the grocery store and picked this up for me, and it has spruce tips in it. Do you know
Trees?
Trees.
Trees?
It has the flavor of trees.
In your beer?
So Thursday night, that's the last episode of the week for Jupiter at Night, and tonight
We're looking towards the weekend, I guess, by drinking trees?
well, I'm gonna enjoy myself some nice winter trees. I thought, you know.
Oh, here's the tie-in. A lot of
Wintry.
people will be buying their Christmas trees this weekend. And now you can also drink them.
Oh my goodness! It's like a Christmas tree in every bottle. No, tonight we're actually going to talk about a new type of life form that NASA discovered. They're in Mono Lake in the good old
That's us
United
behind us.
States. Now, tonight's episode was going to be about a really big, huge NASA.
Yeah, we've been playing it
announcement.
up for like a week now.
Well,
We were really excited.
NASA kind of came out and said, we've got an announcement that will change things forever.
It's going to be huge. You're
You know
going to
what?
love it. The entire world has to tune in because we are going to rock your brains off.
There were signs.
Yeah.
We suspected.
Yeah.
We saw the announcement. We saw the announcer list. Who was going to be present?
Mm-hmm.
When you pointed out or something in the chat room pointed out when you don't see the head of NASA.
Yeah, he was not going to be there.
Not a big deal.
Right.
But you know what? We still want to talk about it because it is really interesting because it fundamentally changes our understanding of how life might exist, and because of this, now we know how to change our parameters for how to find life in space.
Actually, I think it makes it more complicated. But
It
let's
does.
just tell people what it was.
do it, dude.
They found in Mono Lake. Put it behind me again. I'm doing this.
Oh, I thought you wanted the planet
No,
behind
that's
you.
Mono Lake. In Mono Lake, they found life forms, I think bacterial life forms or microbes of some sort,
Yeah, yep.
that have, in place of, what was it? In place of
Phosphorus.
in
Yeah.
their protein structure, they instead have arsenic.
Arsenic.
Now, phosphorus and arsenic are right next to each other on the periodic
In
table.
fact, Jeremy, that's why arsenic is poisonous.
Really?
It is.
Awesome. I learned something right here.
Because most creatures that when their body cells
Mm-hmm.
see an arsenic-based compound versus a phosphorus-based compound, they can't tell them apart.
Oh.
The arsenic-based compound has, I guess, a problem with water-based solubles and things. The proteins fall apart and things like that. And so that's actually why arsenic is poisonous.
So a life form will latch onto the arsenic and kill itself.
Basically, falls
Neat.
apart. Yeah, so that's why they were really surprised that they find these these microbes that
Mm-hmm.
are in place of phosphorus in their cellular structures. They have arsenic, and they've even incorporated arsenic into their DNA structure.
Neat.
But here's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where I'm calling a big fat BS.
All right.
These cells, whatever you want to call them, are not phosphorus free.
What?
It's a phosphorus scam.
What?
I'll tell you about it.
So they might just be arsenic tolerant?
Essentially, they're able to substitute phosphorus when they have to in place with arsenic. Now,
Ugh.
so what they did is they took some of these same cell-type structures and they brought them back to a lab, put them in a tube,
Because that's what they do in labs.
and they said, all right, what if we really control this? And we just go really heavy on the arsenic. And they found that if they went really heavy on the arsenic, they still had to give like a really light phosphorus diet, but Bob's your uncle pretty much completely living with integrated arsenic into the cell structures, into the DNA, all kinds of
Okay,
stuff.
well, that's more BS than I even thought, because that makes it even more of a failure.
Yeah.
They hyped this up so much, and then Okay, step one, if they would have found this on the moon, or an asteroid or comet fragment or something.
Mars.
A+, absolutely incredibly freaking phenomenal, even if it was only fossils. I would have been totally ecstatic about this.
Here's why they're excited.
But they found it in California,
Here's why they're excited, though.
which I guess some people think is another planet.
Here's why they're excited is because if they're able to do this with a species that's sort of phosphorus and arsenic unisex in a way, I guess you could say.
Okay.
They're either way they're bi-compound. Then they believe that since they're able to take that type of organism and make them almost strictly arsenic, that it's likely that in a natural setting it could
But
produce
life could evolve like that.
Right, and here's the other reason. Here's the other big reason is because, and I don't. This is now we're going way out of what I understand. So I'm just putting this out here, but phosphorus does not naturally occur by itself. It has to be combined with something else to produce phosphorus.
Right.
Whereas arsenic can exist completely by itself.
Oh.
So in theory, you could have a much more likely situation where arsenic life forms could exist because that's more likely to be there.
Because it's easier to create.
So now they're saying now we need to expand our parameters. When they're looking for planets, they're looking for a real specific formula, and that includes
to
phosphorus.
support life like us.
Right.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, hey, you got to expand that out to arsenic.
Interesting.
Not bad.
Now, the whole reason that I still do find this kind of interesting is because it also kind of confirms something that's been present in sci-fi for a very long time.
Oh, I know where you're going.
The presence of the concept, the theory of life forms that could replace carbon in their
like
molecular
a silicon-based life form.
with silicon,
like the Horta from Star Trek.
And it's awesome that NASA actually brought that up.
That is awesome.
During their little tirade today.
Now, I got a video.
They actually mentioned the Horta by name.
Oh, I guess it's only a still. I got a still here of what these little dudes look like.
They're huge.
They're well, yeah. That's a little bit magnified.
Oh, okay.
But just it's amazing because it's the fundamentals. But
it's not the hyped up thing.
No. They played the internet, and I kind of had a sense it was that.
Apple's done it to us in the past too.
Yeah, NASA pulled an Apple on it. They totally did.
They should all shown up in black turtlenecks.
That would have been something.
You know, somebody else that actually tried to pull an Apple on us today. Are you okay with moving on from this?
It's totally fine.
Because OnLive, which we've talked about before, we're both kind of fans of the concept.
You know, we are, and we've gotten flamed for that for some reason. There seems to be an OnLive hater crew out there. I don't really have any particular reason to like it one way or the other, but we both have had we've both had OnLive accounts for almost 3 months now. Longer? 6 months?
I think it's close to a year, man. Yeah.
We got into the beta.
Yeah.
And
the early founder program or whatever they called it.
We were impressed, with the main complaint being the catalog. But as far as 720p video delivery went on systems that were super low end.
Yeah. Even that iMac you've got over there that's like
this machine
12 years old?
6 years old. It played, but we were playing Borderlands just fine.
Yeah.
And so this OnLive thing was pretty cool, but people didn't seem to react to it that well. And one of the things we said is they need an all-you-can-eat plan. Yeah. They really need a way to not nickel and dime.
Well, guess what, Christopher?
What?
They did that today. Sorta.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Kinda. It's a $9.95 plan where you get access to their current catalog. All you can.
And also launching today was their micro console that they had previously talked about a lot. So that's going to be out in time for Christmas.
Now the micro console is an interesting deal, dude, because
it's basically just a computer that does nothing but stream the media from their service.
The whole point of OnLive, if you haven't heard of it before, is it lets you do cloud-based gaming. They take high-resolution games that maybe your system can't render or you don't have the video card for or whatever it is.
Or that just don't run. I mean, there's an OnLive client for Mac, and Borderlands does not run on Macs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so OnLive renders the video and then streams it to you, and they compensate with their special magic technology for latency.
Dude, it is magic.
You can tell that some games have a higher latency than others.
There is a slight soupiness.
But on the games that need the high responsiveness, it's there.
Yeah.
And it's neat. We did a lot on
I'm really much more impressed with the whole idea of being able to stream this live interaction than I am with the fact that it's being used for gaming or anything like that.
I know, right?
Mainly because we do video production.
Yeah. We could do some cool stuff if we had something like OnLive.
Yeah. And
because all they're really doing is doing a really super high resolution low latency video.
You know, it's not amazing, that super high resolution. 720, if you think about it. I mean, a lot of people are demanding that OnLive, and they were hoping that this announcement today was going to be a 1080p announcement.
Here's the thing. Xbox 360 games, you know what? They're 720p. Yeah, you might have a 1080p TV, but guess what? From 720p, it's scaled up from there.
Yep.
And most PC gamers, you can look at go look at the stats on Steam. You can see their resolutions are about 720p. The reality is that just the primary market is just not ready for 1080p, bandwidth-wise or even screen-wise. That is a 1080p display. Not many people have a display that large.
Right. You know, I think bandwidth's...
where it comes up is the micro console that you just talked about, because now the micro console you can hook up to your HD TV.
Yes. Whereas most people have been using OnLive primarily on their PCs.
And it would be pretty badass to play Borderlands and all these other games that, you know, because they're PC games and all kinds of stuff that you normally, I guess Borderlands is a console game too.
Yeah.
But the other games that are PC only that now you could play with a controller. I don't know.
So conceptually, OnLive is really quite pretty cool. They have come out with their new announcement today was that you can play as much as you want for $9.99 a month, any game in their catalog. You never own anything, which is another sticking point for a lot of people, but you will never own any of these games that way, which means if you make a lot of progress in Arkham Asylum or something and you want to come back to your game, you're going to have to pay your membership fees to re-access that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, your save points are only good while you're paying.
Right.
But the caveat in this situation here is it seems that the new titles, you're going to get some sort of discount, but you don't get access to any new games.
No.
And their library is not all that compelling.
Which means almost everything that's going to want to be played at this point on is going to be a new release.
In fact, the reason why I don't really know how long I've been playing OnLive is because I've kind of stopped playing because I just don't have much interest in the catalog they have available now.
Now, I might pick it up again now that they have this monthly. It's very tempting, despite their low catalog.
Because there was a few games in there that you wouldn't want to spend the money on, but if you're only paying $10 that month, you're definitely going to jump into some of those.
Well, and remember, my primary PC at home is a low-end system. I don't have the capability of playing some games, including Borderlands.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one we keep mentioning that, but it's a great game, And I tried installing it on my computer at home through Steam, and I actually cannot play it.
And there was that side-scrolling game that we played that I think I talked about it in a Lotso.
Triad or something like that?
I really liked it, but I only wanted to try the demo.
Right.
But for $10, yeah, go play that.
Yeah. Oh, that's another cool thing about OnLive, though. You can sign up for a demo, which is a 10-minute, I think it's 10-minute, and it's free. And it's the entire game.
Yeah, and
no limitations.
Run out of time.
Time only.
You know what? If OnLive wants to blow my skirt up, they need to make a Linux client.
And they need to make a lot more games available.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably need to triple or quadruple their current offerings, even if it's primarily indie titles.
And they need to get current.
That. Yes.
I'm sure that they must go through some sort of process to be able to do what they do. But
licensing and all that stuff,
and rendering it like they do, and streaming it. But why don't we, before we wrap up ttonight, why don't we just give a quick mention about Star Trek Online's big announcement?
And the reason we're probably not going to go into too much depth on this is because we have another show that covers Stowe. But today, in their own version of announcing big things on the web that were kind of lackluster in some ways.
Lackluster in the sense of how it was announced? Or?
Well, yes, that, but also the fact that it was only live for about an hour.
Oh, I know,
before they shut it off.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh, you guys. I raced home when I found out the news from Mr. Somebody over here.
Star Trek Online has a user-generated content engine that they've been hyping for probably 6 to 8 months now.
And it's supposed to be a pretty sophisticated tool.
Yeah.
You'll be able to take the maps and missions that they've made, modify them if you want to, make your own from scratch, better character customizations. You can create all this different kind of stuff.
Very powerful tool, and it launched today.
And I got home and they already had to turn it off.
Yeah. Because they found some major server-side bugs.
That's what happens.
That only happens when you get thousands of people playing it at the same time.
Yep, and I know that from experience. And sometimes you just have to put it in production to catch everything.
Yep.
But I'm pretty confident it's going to be back online in time for us to record Stoked on
I did
Saturday,
get to play with it for about a half hour, and I got to say it's much more robust than I thought it was going to be.
You mean in terms of what you can do?
Yeah, this initial launch of it I thought was going to be pretty stripped down. But I was a little bit overwhelmed, actually, with the number of options available.
Well, we're going to talk all about it on Saturday, because by then I'm sure we'll be able to get tons of time in on it.
I hope so.
And so I think we'll probably talk a lot about it in Stoked.
Yeah.
And we do that live. You can tune in for that Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific. And then also tomorrow night, in place of Jupiter Night, is Lotso. It's our video game show. And we're going to do... Now, I know some of you hate this, but some of you love this. So just prepare yourself. We're doing an app review episode in Lotso for games.
Okay.
iPad, iPhone, Android.
Mobile gaming.
Mobile gaming. We're going to do a whole... We've never done it in Lotso. We almost never have ever talked about it. We're going to do a whole episode on it.
I think that's great. Mobile gaming, I think, is becoming more and more important these days.
And I got a whole list of Android games. Justin has got a whole list of iPad games. And Alan's working on some games, too, for lower-end Androids. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to insult the guy because he's not here tonight.
And, kind of bring that back to what we were talking about earlier. What if they had an Android-based OnLive client?
Oh.
I mean, they've already talked about coming with one for iPads.
There was somebody demoing using some sort of remote WoW client on Android today.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, the full WoW.
Yeah.
That'd be something.
It's like an emulator, or, it's a...
Something.
Thing. I don't know the words because I'm not technically literate right now.
I'm ready for it. Bring it on. These phones are getting crazy. All right, everyone. Well, that wraps up Jupiter Night for this week. But like I mentioned, you can tune in for Lotso tomorrow or Stoked on Saturday.
And Last on Sunday.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
You got a weekend ahead of you.
Yeah, but Jupiter Night itself won't be back till Tuesday night. So until then, we hope you enjoyed the entire week of Jupiter Night, and we'll see you Tuesday night.